life itself. Next slide, please. We also know that the Ankh, the Romans and the Europeans, in trying to understand it, they call it the crux ansata, meaning the cross with a handle, right? Crux ansata. Doesn't that sound classical and brilliant and everything else, and something you might not understand? Crux ansata. Well, all that means is cross with a handle. But the problem with that cross with the handle business is that if you're familiar with the Ankh, in ancient Egypt, it's constantly being held by the bottom, not by the so-called handle, and put up to the nose, the circular part, put up to the nose of various netters. I think I have a slide of that. Next slide. Well, this depicts, these are the different depictions. You'll see it in a minute, where the Ankh is held and put up to the nose of a netter, like they're breathing in the Ankh. And we know that the Ankh means water and the Ankh means life. And these four depictions by Swana de Lubitz, these are the simple ways that the Ankh has been depicted. Now, in each one of them, the important thing is that when you see the horizontal bar, throughout ancient Egypt, the horizontal bar is not depicted as a part of the Ankh, but as something over top of the Ankh. Do you see what I mean? The pattern shows you that it's on top of, that what's underneath is a loop. Dig it now. Is one thing, and what's on top, the bar, is another thing. Am I making sense? This is very important. That the horizontal is on top of something, of the loop, right? And then the one up the top shows it's a loop, and then the second one, then the third one, then finally it becomes one, over thousands of years. Next slide, please. I was going to read some things to you, but you see the Ankh being placed to the nostrils, right? Let me see if I can find this real quick, because this is very important. So I'm trying to get away from this, and it wouldn't leave me alone. Just kept coming after me until finally I was reading the Quran. I looked in the Quran underwater, and one of the sections in the Quran, it was really beautiful, said something, and I said, wow, look at this. And I may have to end on this note. Bear with me a moment. No, I can't end. I've got to share with you about the wife of the Pharaoh. Okay. I turned to the Quran and I read this. This was underwater in the Quran. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It's the 25th Surah, verse 53. It is He who has let free the two bodies of flowing water, one palatable and sweet, and the other salt and bitter. Yet has He made a barrier between them, a partition that is forbidden to be passed. It is He who has let free the two bodies of flowing water, one palatable and sweet, and the other salt and bitter. Yet has He made a barrier between them, a partition that is forbidden to be passed. Next slide. That's the hydrologic cycle. Think about the Ankh. Think about what I showed you before. We can't go back with that slide projector, I'm sorry to say. The bar of the Ankh is the horizon. Dig it now. The bar is the horizon. The sweet water is above the horizon in the loop drawn up by the sun, Ra, into the clouds to turn around and pass back sweet water past the horizon down to the earth, the salt water below, between which is a barrier. The barrier, dig what I'm saying? Scientifically, that's the hydraulic cycle. Water, putting it to the thing means water in the air, sweet water, huh? Air, water in the air. So the whole blessing that the Western civilization is destroying with their imbalances and poisoning the air, the hydrologic cycle which Aristotle disputed, which was only recognized in the West in the 1700s, was known not only in the Quran, but was known in ancient times, and our Ankh shows a great scientific understanding of the cycling of the water. Hotep, Brother Jeffries, Dr. Jeffries just walked in too. Beautiful. It's good to see you. So that we see with the Ankh, we see science, the great sacred science once again, and by way of the Quran, we've been able once again, by way of this revelation, to see a connection with something that is very profound. Next slide. I'm going to move quickly, Brother Imhotep. I wanted to get into the Bani Israel, the children of Israel. I wanted to get into that with you, but I won't be able to. Israel is really, Il is God. So the root of Israel is back here to the Sere again, like Sirat al-Mustaqim. It's like he who travels by night, which has to do with that whole battle of Jacob with the devil, right? And then Jacob was named Israel because he fought with the devil and won in the biblical story. Well, that's the story of Horus and Set. It's the person who travels at night. So therefore, if Israel is in fact the name of the champion of God, the whole principle in the Quran of Bene Israel, and we know about the Benu bird, the rising, the original phoenix. So Ben or Benu has to do with the phoenix rising, and we're talking about the child or the rising of the champion. So Bene Israel is not the children of Eastern European Hebrews. It's an ancient principle called the children of Horus. And Horus, since Horus is he who travels by night, or the great principle of the champion. I wanted to get into that. I won't have time. I refer you to our book. Next slide. What I need to, and I must share with you, next slide, is in fact the light on the feminine principle, and I'll go out on this note, in Al-Islam that is hidden even to the Arabs themselves who bring their cultural bias to Quran, but they do it without really apologizing for it. Two things I want to speak of. There's one section in the Quran where